G'day, I'm Barrett Bob. Today I've come up the Sunshine Coast to fish around some of these inshore reefs. We've just got up here and there's a few birds working, possibly mackerel or tuna. So we're going to have a little crack at these while it's a bit of action going around, and then a bit later on we're probably going to anchor up and soak a few baits for some grass emperor. There's just an endless supply of reef systems ranging from Caloundra to Noosa, and there's a whole array of different techniques you can use to fish them, whether it be trolling live baits or lures, through to throwing chromies like this, and yeah, old school bait fishing. But just gonna have a flick here. I can see there's heaps of bait just shimmering on the surface. I'm just hoping there's something underneath them pushing them up. We'll find out. Well, it's definitely in the mix. Yeah, baits. Oh, yeah, here we go over here. Now that's fish busting up. Let's go for a wander over here. Nice. One. Oh, yep. You'll be guilty. Looks like we've started collecting a bit of bait. Not real big, but it's nice to get rewarded for your efforts. Come here. Yeah, little mac tuna. That's all right, you're not real big, but it's a start. I was getting cast right into the thick of the school with that 40-gram chromie and they just weren't interested. I've just gone to the Z-Man 5-inch jerk shad and a 1-ounce jig head, and yeah, that was a bit more to their liking, so I'm stoked. It's going to be prime bait for these grass emperors. Come here. They really make a mess of your boat. It's prime bait. All right, I might go lipper fishing, I'm thinking. Oh, that had a bit of colour to it. Come on, come on. Oh, just watch yourself, cameraman. Oh. Come on, come on, here we go. Come on. Oh, yes, got him. Yeah. Oh. Woohoo! Little line burners. What do we got this time? Mackerel, spotty. Oh, I might grab the land, the net. Awesome. Hey, let's bring him up the top. Let's untangle him. There we go, nice little spotty. That's cool. On the Z-Man again. It's producing the goods for me this morning. There's heaps of birds and just a mixture of pelagics all through them, but a big 1 ounce headlock jig head. That just helps me cast at long distances, and yeah, just letting it sink for a bit and then burning it in. We'll rip the hook out of this, and I think we might keep this one for the esky. He's not a bad size, good little fella for chewing. But yeah, we'll keep plugging away at him and go and have a lipper fish soon.
Overreaction is my only reaction. Overreaction is my only reaction. Overreaction is my only reaction. Overreaction is my only reaction.
Light shining down on me. I see you, I want you to know that I hear your voice. My hands are trembling, just remembering the way that we were. I want you to see me and know that I'm still here. It feels like I'm descending to the depths of everything we were. I can hear your voice in the whispers of falling stars, the silence of passengers, but I don't know where you are, can't see eternity.
Oh, that felt like something better found it. Just been sitting here through the rat-a-tatters, and now it feels like something slightly better's come up for a little investigation. Oh, come on, get up. Get up. Oh. That's better. Didn't want to come off the bottom. I'd say it's another grassy. Here's colour. Yeah, nice grassy. That's what we come for. Prime fish. See, they get a lot bigger than this too. That's an average size fish for the Sunshine Coast. You get up to about 3-4 kilo would be an exceptional grassy emperor. They get quite fat too. I don't know if you can see that, but they got a bit of a noggin on them. Stoked with that. That's what we come for.
The silence of passing cars, but I don't know where you are, can't see eternity without you next to me. You're so far away, slipping every day.
Oh, I dropped him. This reel's getting really sad really quick. It just stripped 3 gears at a time then. See if I can get one more fish out of this reel. Oh, one more fish, come on Pan. Oh, it's done some honest work, this reel. Yeah, she's just about had her. There's got to be another grassy. Yeah, cracker. Another cracker. These prime table fish. Nice hook up right in the corner of the jaw. Definitely wasn't getting off. Still got a bit of fight left in him. Sorry about the slime on the lens. He's just a bit cranky. Nice pale fish. Yeah. Another lipper. You see the red throat. Hopefully we'll run into a few red throat today. Mix it up, but for now, that's what we came for. Prime esky fish. Oh. Oh. Get up. Giving me a bit of grief. First fish on a new hang. Oh, he's still kicking. Come on. Oh, he got. A nice grassy, not massive, but he put up a good account for himself. They do fight hard. Oh, yummy. Beautiful fish. He hit it on the drop before it even got to the bottom. That's exactly what you want. Okay, we're just going to go put him on the ice. If you're going to keep a feed, it's a really good idea to ice them up, and you really want to keep it in as best condition as possible. Starting to put a bit of a bag together. So just try and lay them all flat. Nice. Keep them nice and cold. And the red cordial, the go-go juice. Yes, got him. Oh, just had to change it up there a bit. Went from the mac tuna back to the pilly, and oh, it's coming up like a bit like a boot now. It might be a little Mary cod, but one thing you haven't seen much of today is how many different anchors I've done in the past. Well, I think we've been on the water for 3 hours or something like that, and we've probably done at least half a dozen different anchors. But I think we're gonna give it a rest now and maybe go back to chasing some mackerel. We've had a bit of fun on the reefies. We've got more than we need for feed, so yeah, we'll get going. Check this out, just inside this little cod's mouth, he has an absolute gut full of bait fish in there. I don't know if you can see that, but that's exactly what all these mackerel and tuna have been feeding on, these tiny little white baits. I wonder if he'll cough them up for us. There we go, there's one. I'll just get him back in the water quickly. See you, buddy. But look at that. That's exactly what we're going to need to be mimicking to go and chase these mackerel around again. So I might go and do that for a little bit and then, yeah, call it a day probably, but that's cool.
Overreaction is my only reaction. Overreaction is my only reaction. Overreaction is my only reaction. Overreaction is my only reaction.
To give you an idea of the economy of the 135 Mercury, which pushes to 5.5 hardtop, we went about 25 to 30 k's offshore to film Spanish mackerel. So we went out for the day, trolled around, come back in. At 100 kilometres we did for 49 litres of fuel. So this engine is really good on fuel, and if you can throw in some fish for a bit over $50, how good is that?
Yeah, bro.
Whether you're chasing tuna for fresh bait or whether you're chasing tuna for sport, as you saw with Bob throwing plastics around them, they're extremely effective as a presentation for tuna. And you might even get a bonus of a nice mackerel for dinner as well. In terms of plastics for tuna, it's hard to beat a 5-inch plastic, whether it's a streaks like that pintail or whether it's a jerk shad with the fork tail there. Plastics in that 5-inch size represent bait and are extremely easy for a tuna of any sort of size to eat, as well as mackerel, queenfish, trevally and other species as well. Jig head wise, generally stick to that sort of 5/0 or maybe up to a 6/0 if you're chasing big long-tail tuna, and 1/2 ounce through to 3/4 an ounce, maybe 1.5 ounces if you're fishing deeper and fish are holding deeper in the water column. So 5-inch plastic. One that's got a bit of a cult following in recent times is that 5-inch streaks in bubblegum, especially in that Hervey Bay sort of area where it's accounted for masses and masses of long-tailed tuna, especially when they're finicky and they don't want to eat those slugs, as Bob found throwing the slugs for tuna. At times, you know, you want to carry some hard bodies, some slugs, some plastics so that you can change it up until you crack a pattern and find what those fish want on that day. So in terms of chasing tuna, I generally refer to the 3 Bs, and so do a lot of other people, and that's bust ups, birds and bait. So when you're out there, look for those fish breaking up on the surface. It might be mackerel, it might be tuna, and if you can chase those fish that are busting up, they're actively feeding, so you're a fair chance of catching a fish. Birds are another good sign that there's fish in the area, and generally the consensus is that the birds will hang above the water about the same distance that the bait is below the water. So if the birds are holding at 20 feet, the fish are probably still down around 20 feet. As the fish push that bait closer to the surface, the birds come down to feed off that bait as it's pushed to the top. So as you see those birds get lower, it's time to get over there because those fish are pretty close to the top or they're about to bust up. And the other thing is bait. If you can't find any birds and you can't find any bust ups, tune into your sounder on the boat and find that bait, whether it's bait holding on structure or whether it's just general bait in the area. Bait attracts fish. So if you can find that bait and work those plastics and work those other lures around that bait, you're much better chance of finding fish around bait than in just barren open ground. So bust ups, birds and bait are good starting points when you're chasing tuna and other pelagic species. You can also use the wind to your advantage when you're out there, because a lot of the times the fish will push the bait up against the wind, so the wind makes it harder for the bait up high in the water column to move forward. So you'll find those tuna and other species will often feed the bait up, push the bait up into the wind. So if you see fish busting up and feeding, you can often position the boat upwind of the fish and intercept them as they come towards you, so you can use that wind to your advantage. And another thing that can sometimes spook them is motor noise. So if you're revving or cutting off your motor around the fish, so if you find a patch of tuna and you idle up to intercept them, just leave that motor idling so there's not that change of noise that can sometimes put the fish down as well. Retrieve wise, flat out high speed retrieving is good. You saw Bob cast his out, he was allowing him to sink down and then cranking that lure back flat out, and that gets that pintail, that 5-inch streaks, it really gets that pintail vibrating in the water, and the fish just can't resist it, they'll get on it. So you can fish it high, you can allow it to drop down and twitch it back through the schools and under the schools of tuna. You might come across some other species, or if you see something pop up on the sounder, you can even allow that plastic to fall right to the bottom and hop it up off the bottom, so you might get reefies and that sort of thing as well as your pelagic species. So the plastic is versatile in that sense, that allows you to fish that water column and catch a wide range of species as well. So in that case there with Bob fishing, as you saw, he put the plastic to use, got some nice fresh mac tuna, scored a bonus mackerel for dinner, but that mac tuna he then put to good work on some nice reefies, and there's hard to beat a feed of reefies home on the table. Cheers.
Today's tip is a track back feature. With the track back, you can actually scroll back on your sounder and look at your recordings from what you've already travelled over. So you can see all your previous history. You can actually scroll back If you find some bait, put your cursor on it, add a waypoint. That waypoint will then show up on your GPS. It might be 100, 200 metres behind your boat. Another thing, one of the best features about this also is when you clear your cursor, it comes back to your live reading and you haven't missed. You can track back and see everything you've missed as well, so you don't miss anything on your sounder. There's a little tip for you today, so hopefully that helps you get more fish out on the water.